Very welcome back everyone for the last part of the lesson. Now today, our last part of the lesson is not writing, okay? We're going to apply it through our reading. And I've got a book here, I'll sneak it to you. Ooh. And I've written the word on here of what the book is about. You can read this word, you'll probably know what book I'm about to read to you. Snail. Snail. So this book is about a snail. Let's have a read. Now, while I'm reading, if you hear me say a word with A in it, I might say it a little bit louder to help you. I want you to give me a big thumbs up. It's there, that's an A word. Okay, let's give it a go. I'm going to read you today The Snail and the Whale. This is the tale of a tiny snail and a great big grey-blue humpback whale. This is a rock as black as soot, and this is a snail with an itchy foot. The sea snail slithered all over the rock and gazed at the ship and gazed at the sea and the ships in the dock. And as she gazed, she sniffed and she sighed. The sea is deep and the world is wide. How I long to sail, sail on a boat. How I long to sail, said the tiny snail. There's lots of words in there, isn't there? There's snail, sail. Let's keep going. These are the other snails in the flock who all stuck tight to the smooth black rock and said to the snail with the itchy foot, "Be quiet, don't wriggle, sit still, stay put." But the tiny sea snail sighed and sniffed, then cried, "I've got it, I will hitch a lift." This is the trail. Trail. The trail is like this, a snail's trail, like the slime it leaves behind. Trail. This is the trail of the tiny snail, a slivery trail that looped and curled and said, "Lift wanted around the world." So what have we got so far? We've got snail, trail, sail. We're getting there, aren't we? We've got lots. This is the whale who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright. A humpback whale immensely long who sang to the snail a wonderful song of shimmering ice and coral-wet caves and shooting stars and enormous waves. And this is the tail, tail of the humpback whale. He held it out of the starlit sea and said to the snail, "Come sail with me." Got lots of words on that page. Tail, snail, sail. This is the sea so wild and free that carried the whale and the snail on his tail. The towering icebergs and far-off lands with fiery mountains and golden sands. These are the waves that arched and crashed, that foamed and frolicked and sprayed and splashed. The tiny snail on the tail of the whale. These are the caves beneath the waves with stripy fish and feathery fins and sharks with hideous, toothy grins swim around the whale and the snail on his tail. This is a sky so vast and high, sometimes sunny and blue and warm, sometimes filled with a thunderstorm, with zigzag lightning, flashing and frightening, the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. And she gazed at the sky, the sea and the land, the waves and the caves and the golden sand. She gazed and gazed, amazed by it all, and she said to the whale, "I feel so small." But then came the day the whale lost his way. These are the speedboats running a race, zigging and zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splitting roar, making him swim too close to the shore. This is the tide slipping away. And this is the whale lying beached in a bay. "Quick off the sand, back to the sea," cried cried the snail. I can't move on land, I'm too big, said the whale. The snail felt helpless and terribly small. Then I've got it, she cried, and started to crawl. I must not fail. There's another one. Fail. That means that you can't do something. I must not fail, said the tiny snail. Got lots of A words in here. This is the bell on the school in the bay, ringing the children in from their play. This is the teacher holding her chalk, telling the class, sit straight, don't talk. This is the board as black as soot, and this is the snail with the itchy foot. A snail, the teacher turns pale. Look, says the children, it's leaving a trail. This is the trail of the tiny snail. A silvery trail saying, save the whale. These are the children running from school, fetching the fireman and digging a pool, squirting and spraying to keep the whale cool. This is the tide coming into the bay, and these are the villagers shouting hooray, as the whale and the snail travel safely away. Back to the dock and the flock on the rock, who said, how time's flown, and haven't you grown? And the whale and the snail told their wonderful tale of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves, and of how the small are so small and frail. That means that you're not very strong. So small and frail, with her looping, curling, silvery trail, saved the life of the humpback whale. Then the humpback whale held out his tail, and on crawled snail after snail after snail. And they sang to the sea as they all set sail on the tail of the grey-blue humpback whale. So what I'm going to do very quickly for you is just go over the A words that I found in this story. I'm going to make them for you here. Okay, so we had snail, snail. Then we also had sail. We also had tail. We also had fail. So I'm going to stop there, right? But I'm going to take photos of these pages so that you can read the book together. Can you find any more A words with the A and the I grapheme? Okay, see if you can and let me know if you find any more. Well done, everyone. Good listening.